So when I saw Veronica first time, I didn't really think much of her. Just saw that she was a great girl, and that's about it. But several months later, when she came to this evangelizing night we had again, I saw how on fire she was for God, and I just remember her bright yellow shirt and just green eyes glowing and on fire when she was talking about Christ to other people and hugging other people, and she shared about Christ and prayed with them. I never saw a girl like this in my life. She was just on fire, glowing, walking around, smiling. I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it. And I started praying after that, Lord, is there an impossible way we could probably be together? Several months later after that, we talked at a fellowship at an evening, and after that, I just wanted to marry her, and I couldn't take her out of my mind. She was always in my mind. I was always thinking about her, praying about her. Lord, if there's any possible way. After a month, we started courting, and I got to know her really well, how loving, caring she is, beautiful. She's so gorgeous, and I just fell in love with her character. She's so amazing with other people, with treating other people, and I saw how she's with her family, and the way she responded to everything when people said something bad to her, or not in a loving way. I just fell in love with every single part of her. And a month after that, I proposed to her, took her by a river, and she said yes.
The first time I saw Joseph, I wasn't attracted to him at first sight. I put him in the same category as every other man. A few months later, I saw him again at evangelizing, and I saw he was a godly man, and he was really excited to serve God, but I didn't really care for him at that time. I just was not attracted to him. I had no feelings for him at that time. But during that time, I started praying for my future husband, because older godly women started telling me to keep praying and praying. And I told them, I don't think I'm going to get married until I'm 25. What's the point of me praying? But I kept praying, and I had hope that God had a man prepared for me. But I never knew who he was going to be. So I started praying for my future husband. I told God I wanted 10 qualities in my future husband, and some of them were that he must respect elders and he must get counsel from elders. And other ones were that he must encourage me to godliness, and not for beauty or apparel, but just to serve Christ wholeheartedly, and also to raise our kids in godliness. And so I prayed, and I trusted that God had a plan. And when I prayed, I always wondered if he was out there, but he was. And then a few months later, little did I know that there was somebody praying for me, and it was really special. One thing that really stood out to me about Joseph was that he really loved the Lord, and one of his favorite verses was my verse. And it is, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. And that's what really stood out to me about Joseph. That night I came home, and I just imagined being with him already. I started thinking about our kids and our marriage and how everything would be like. And then I came to a conclusion no, we're too different. We can't be together. That's not possible. I'm just a city girl and he's a farm boy. There's no way. But at that time, I really just started praying for Joseph, because he really caught my eye, and I just started trusting in God. And then I started coming evangelizing more often. I'd see him, and we would go share the gospel, and I had really seen his love for the Lord. So Joseph and I were actually here in downtown when we started courting, just walking down the Riverwalk. He invited me before evangelizing one time, and I was a little afraid. I didn't know what he was going to say to me. I was a little nervous. I was just I didn't know what to expect from him. But he said he wanted to talk to me, so we went to the Riverwalk. We walked along here, and he took out a rose and he gave it to me. I was a little scared. I'm like, I don't know where this is headed. And he told me he really, really liked me. I was not expecting that at all. I didn't know it was going to be that soon. But as we walked, he started telling me how he really liked me and how he saw my love for the Lord. And as we sat down, he asked me a few questions, and they were really deep questions, like, where do you see this relationship heading, and how do people see us? So I answered those questions and I started thinking about it. I started praying to God. I'm like, Lord, if this is your will, then give me peace about it. And so God really gave me peace about it, and He revealed to me that it's His will. And not only that, but God also revealed to me that He fit every single quality that I asked God for, and even beyond that. Because a few years ago, I always wondered, I'm like, Lord, I want to live on a farm, raise our kids on a farm. And God went far beyond that, and He answered all of my prayers. And it's a matter of just trusting in God, and He will provide the right one at the right time. And so a month later, after we were courting, he asked me out on a date, and I said, okay, let's go out. So he's like, let's go to downtown. It was really raining, it was pouring really hard, and I'm like, oh, okay, I wonder what kind of date this is gonna be. As we were in downtown that night, he asked me to walk by the Riverwalk, and we started walking, and I started just thinking, I'm like, I wonder when we will be getting married, because I know he was really serious about me and I was serious about him. We were very sure about our relationship with each other and about us getting married in the future. So as we walked along the Riverwalk, it was pouring really hard and it was windy. And I had a feeling that he would propose that night, but I wasn't sure because it was so soon. It was just a month after we started courting. So as we walked, he asked me to sit down on the bench where we started courting. And I said, okay, sure. And he wanted to share a poem with me. So he started reading off his poem. And in the end of the poem, he asked me to marry him. I was surprised. I'm like, I didn't know what to say. And so I said, okay, I'm willing to marry you. And I gave him a big hug. And that's where our engagement began.